Today we're going to learn how to install a ULC or UL-listed fire alarm monitoring. So we've got our fire alarm panel right here, and now you're going to have your monitoring cabinet right here. So I've already basically mounted this thing, but let's go over it. So this, you can buy these as a package, and they're basically just DSC alarm panels with some added features, which will make them a little bit different from how you wire up a normal alarm panel. So first of all, you've got a red cabinet. So to think about where you're putting your cabinet. So that's the first thing you do. Mount your cabinet to the wall, and so it's just 4 screws in the corners. And then, actually, before you put your cabinet, people make a mistake. You gotta put these. I forgot what these are called, but they basically they're called standoffs, I think. So they let your equipment sit on top, and they're really hard to get out. So make sure you put them in the right holes. And so you mount the cabinet, and then think about where your power can only come in through 1 or 2 spots at the bottom, and because a normal alarm system will have an external transformer that mounts to an electrical receptacle, but UL-listed will not allow that. So you have to have, you bring 120 volt power right in, and then you attach your transformer here, and we have to tighten that ring up. But basically the 120 volt gets enclosed in here, so this gets locked up, and then we can run alarm wire to our AC. So this is 16 volts AC to the power. And don't worry about, because this is a transformer, so there's it doesn't matter which way you put it in, but because there's no white or there's no neutral or hot on this transformer. It's just a 2-pole. And then you connect your battery. So your battery comes off dedicated plug, and then it'll come with a battery wire. So you just have to connect your 2 batteries in series. They're in series, and we need 2 batteries in case. So this gives us enough, like 24 hours of power. And then now make sure you don't make more holes in this thing than you need to. So the second thing is you can mount your lock, and then you can mount your tamper switch. So your tamper switch is 2 wires, which you can take, and these can just wire up into one of the zones here. Now, this is the part that I don't like. So you can get a number of different communicators depending on how the signal is leaving the building. So in this case, we're equipped with a cellular communicator. So you have to take out this knockout here. Now the cellular communicator just sits on this bracket that has to sit in this corner, and once you plop that in, you gotta work your antenna wire. So you plug in your antenna wire up here, and you work it up through the hole in the bracket, and that hole will line up with the hole here so that you can screw your antenna in. And that's basically it. Now you've got 3 forms of communication here. So you've got cellular, and so we've got our SIM card right here, and then you can have Ethernet, and you can also run a phone line right into the DSC panel. So we've got at the bottom here. So if we take a look at our DSC panel, we've got AC, which is power, and then we've got auxiliary contacts and a bell, which you don't really need for a fire alarm, but this will activate like a bell. It's kind of pointless. And then we've got red, black, yellow, green. So those are for our bus, for our keypad, which we'll look at later. And then we've got PGMs, which you're not going to use really. Those are for auxiliary devices. and then you've got the zones. So you've got 8 zones here. But what I don't like is it's very hard to get a screwdriver in there once you've put your cellular in. So you probably want to wire up your panel first and then put your cellular in so that everything can fit. You can get your screwdriver in there, and then once you're done, now, so the keypads are interesting. And so again, now you can use conduit or you can use armored cable. I'm wiring everything with armored fire alarm wire, which is designed to survive a fire. But I don't think you have to use a fire alarm wire as long as you've got a non-combustible. So you can use like a flex conduit, metal flex conduit, for example. That always works. And then you want to make sure that you run your power into a separate circuit for your monitoring. So separate circuit for that. Any questions, please post a comment. Thank you.